The growing excitement continues as the entire world awaits for the return of future Trunks scheduled for next week's episode of Dragon Ball Super, as he returns with a grim warning of the horrors that are coming, with Dark Goku following him through time. Set to make a grand arrival, we conclude our mini story tonight with the final battle between Copy Vegeta and Son Goku as we lay our Superhuman water story to rest. Welcome Dragon Ball fans to my official Dragon Ball Super episode 46 review and breakdown entitled Copy Vegeta vs Goku, who will prevail leading into next week's grand episode of episode 47, the return of future Trunks, and what was said to be the darkest story that we've gotten in Super thus far. With everything on the line, Goku preps as he battles Copy Vegeta in order to save the original Vegeta's life. Now, for those who haven't seen my recent breakdown discussions and reveal on Black Goku in the future Trunks arc, the video links will be located down in the description for you guys to go ahead and check out. Now, before I go any further into this review, a fair warning that this video will contain loads of spoilers, so if you don't want anything spoiled for you, just simply fast forward in the video, go watch the episode and come back so we can talk more Dragon Ball Super. Do not cry in the comments about being spoiled by the thumbnail or any of that, because nothing is being said or shown that you guys don't already know and or not prepped for. But be sure to check out the description down below, guys, for more goodies, updates, and contact information to where you guys can contact me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. That way we can talk more Dragon Ball Super. So anyways, the translations to this episode, in case you guys were wondering how I was able to pick up on the dialogue prior to the subs coming out, was translated by Herms98 on Twitter. Thank you so much, Herms, for that. Now, at long last, Goku fights Vegeta. Even though it's not the real Vegeta still, the episode concludes with a decent finale. Nothing mind-blowing or spectacular, but boy oh boy, another Vegeta problem, eh guys? Now, before I get into what happened in the episode itself, the preview to next week's episode gave me goosebumps. I believe it was the greatest preview to any Dragon Ball episode that we've gotten thus far, because the music was different, the atmosphere felt very tense, and everything that we've wanted from an arc in Dragon Ball is coming next week. And in the preview translation, Trunks actually said, and I quote, "Hello, this is Trunks. It's been a long time after defeating the androids. The future was at peace until he appeared." I'm getting goosebumps right now just talking about it. And of course, we get to see evil Dark Goku. He was there. Although we can't really see his face, we see like this demeanor, we see this shadow just covering the future, and he was destroying literally everything. Bulma was there. Bulma was trying to figure out what was going on. We see Trunks towards the end. He's crying, and what appears to be, in my prediction, however, don't take this as confirmation, but my prediction is that I think his mom is going to die in next week's episode, because towards the end we get to see future Trunks strike. He whipped out his sword. He wanted to fight off this entity, this Dark Goku, and of course we see him crying in the end. Now, Trunks is a grown-ass man. He doesn't really cry over anything, but I think that the only person that he ever had in that timeline that was meaningful to him, aside from Mai, because we do get to see Mai appear towards the end as well, was his mom. And I think that his mom is going to perish, in which case forces Mai and Trunks to go back into the past, which again is going to be awesome. Like, I cannot wait to, if you guys are excited about this, then drop a comment, smash that like button, because I cannot wait to see what's going to come out of this. But nevertheless, going back to the episode now, we see Goku and Vegeta. They're staring off right in the beginning, and their base battle was alright. I mean, I think personally Goku should have went SS Blue from the get-go instead of just prolonging everything, because that could have killed his friend. What the hell's wrong with him? So I think that the early duration of the fight was alright until they became Super Saiyan Blues, both Copy Vegeta and Goku, because many people were just like, well, that doesn't make any sense. How the hell did Purple Vegeta become Super Saiyan Blue? I mean, keep in mind, guys, this is Copy Vegeta. He has all of the traits, techniques, abilities that normal Vegeta has. So certain people were just like, oh, that doesn't make any sense. It's like Ivan Ooze, who just went Super Saiyan God. I mean, it makes sense, guys, because if somebody would replicate you, they would have all your traits and your abilities and your thoughts and stuff. So that's exactly what happened here. But their base fight was alright. The highlight for that for me was when Vegeta was beating Goku into the ground, and Goku had to resort to using instant transmission to try to get away from him, and he did catch him off guard several times. And Vegeta was actually kind of like on edge about this, the original Vegeta, because he was like, alright, well, Kakarot's kicking my ass, and that's technically me because it's a copy version of myself. So there was a certain scenario where he actually stopped, rooting for Goku, and he was like, you know what, you could do it, Vegeta. Like, he was rooting for himself, which was kind of like prideful, because although he wasn't involved in the fight, he wasn't really a part of that battle, he still didn't want to see Goku beat him, and that just goes to show that pride can go a long way. So we get to see Goku pretty much, try to gain the upper edge on him, but I think that Goku fully hasn't recovered yet, in which case I do believe he will recover soon. But the battle between him and Super Saiyan Blue Copy Vegeta was relatively decent. It wasn't, anything like hitting Goku, and I guess it's kind of unfair to make those comparisons as well, but there were certain things that, had to involve Trunks in this episode, in the Superhuman water, in which case the pottage actually states that the Superhuman water nucleus had to be weakened in order for Copy Vegeta to be weakened because the nucleus was still alive, and Trunks pretty much said, well, why didn't you say that earlier? And the pottage was like, well, I'm over 100 years old, man, it just slipped over my mind. So he pretty much let age get to him, in which case, Jocko is mad that the Superhuman water has no interest in absorbing his powers, in which case we saw that when the Superhuman water was chasing everyone around, and Jocko fell down to the ground, and he thought that he was going to be absorbed, but then it turns out the Superhuman water just completely avoided him. So he felt some type of way, man. He felt as if the Superhuman water like threw shade at him or whatever, because he was just like, all right, well, how come he didn't want to take my powers? I'm strong too, whatever. So Trunks is worried that his dad was going to disappear forever, and that was a moment to where we see Trunks and we see him rooting on for Goku, and even though the boys were rooting on for, Goku, there was a specific scene to where the boys were cheering him on, and Vegeta looked at them and they were all like, okay, we get it. It's not really you, but we have to cheer for Goku because if he loses, then you're dead. So Goku is suitably impressed that Monaka was actually able to be the hero towards the end, because Goku still doesn't have a clue that Monaka is weak as hell, possibly the weakest character of all time. Even comparing him to Hercule or Yamcha, I mean, you guys can make a poll on that as to who's the weakest one between all of them. So, but like during that early portion, we get to see Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta. He was trying, at least, he was trying to make something out of the fight, and I believe that if this was original Vegeta, he would have given Goku a much better fight, but this is the closest that we've ever gotten to Super Saiyan Blue versus Super Saiyan Blue. We've never seen them actually fight in the show. We saw them fight in the manga, but the manga it's way behind as of right now. So now, leading towards the very end, however, we get to see that Monaka snapped out of consciousness right before the Superhuman water absorbed Trunks, because he did want Trunks, and Vegeta stepped up for the very first time. He stepped in, he stepped up, and he wanted to defend his son, and that was a moment to where you can relate to and actually connect with, because we get to see that Vegeta actually wants to, defend his son. He wants to be there for his kid, and even though he was powerless to do so, when Monaka snapped out of consciousness, he stepped on the nucleus, and then the nucleus became weak, and similar to Golden Frieza, Super Saiyan Blue Goku fires off a Kamehameha wave and completely destroys the copy. Again, Goku's the hero, yay on that, I guess some people would say. Leading into the SOS from the future, a new black enemy appears, which is next week. I really hope that for my sake, for your sake, that Goku does not end up being the hero again, because if you look at everything thus far, right, even though it was kind of like uneven with Beerus, he had his moment to shine on that. He had his moment to where he defeated Golden Frieza. He had his moment to where he squared off in the finale of the Universal God Destruction Tournament, and now he had the moment to where he defeated Copy Vegeta. So Goku thus far has been the star, and the star. So I hope that in the next arc it's someone else, but I do think that it's gonna be it's probably gonna boil down to Goku versus Goku at the very end. But nevertheless, we get to go into the previews, and again, I'm just gonna keep talking about this because the previews gave me goosebumps, man. I really could not believe what I was looking at. I was just so excited because the atmosphere, the tone, the music, the way they were explaining everything was so dark, and everything was just so dark and grim and destroyed. And we get to see struggle like that. That's what I want to see in Dragon Ball Super. I want to see struggle. I want to see people struggling. I want to see people, as crazy as it sounds, I want to see people dying because Cell was killing everyone off. We get to see that, Frieza was killing people off. Majin Buu, Kid Buu, Super Buu, they were eating people, destroying people, blowing up planets. In Super thus far, we haven't really seen that aside from Golden Frieza, who is the only one that blew up the Earth. So now we have something different. Now, some people might debate that and they might say, well, the arc that's coming isn't really going to be much. It's just going to be Dark Goku wrecking shit and whatnot. And I completely disagree. I think that Dark Goku is going to pose a very, very credible threat to everybody, as everyone was talking about. And I kept telling you guys that this is going to be a very dark story, and based off the preview alone, it just seems like a dark-ass story. Now, again, people like King Jose, Gogeta Senpai, Vegito Fusion 16, we saw, several people in the comments that are relatively excited about this, Leo Bravo and Don Trip 1904, and, there were a lot of people, Super Namekian, and The Hidden Rock, and Alejandro, and there were so many of you guys that are excited in the comment section, especially especially in my last video that I just did with the review, that I am genuinely getting excited based off of your excitement, so that's pretty cool. But, you know, grounding this entire episode, now, I just think that although all of this filler shit didn't really make that much sense, I mean, the whole superhuman water and whatever, it needed to be done because you needed space. First of all, you needed space to create some melodramatic, you know, moments to where it's not that serious, because having to go from the Universal Tournament into the future Trunks arc would have been like way too soon, because there wouldn't have been no backstory and things would have been rushed. But I think that the slice of life episode with Monaka being faked and Beerus fighting Goku, and now this happening, it needed to be done to just marinate everything. And now we're gonna have the arc that we were all looking forward to. Now, if you're not excited about this, if you're not one of those who's going to be like, yeah, I'm on board to watch next week's episode, then let me know why. I want to know why certain people are kind of salty about Trunks. Trunks was never really, you know, a bad character. I mean, looking back on the Cell Games arc, he was a badass, bro. Like, he wanted to save his time, but now I don't think that there's any reason to save anything, because now, instead of him coming back warning about this enemy, the enemy followed him back. So the enemy now, who has been terrorizing him in the future, has now followed him into the past, and that's going to be something that's going to be groundbreaking in and of itself. But this episode, I mean, aside from Goku versus Blue Vegeta, or Copy Blue Vegeta, that was the only like good thing about this episode. Everything else was kind of like dragged out. My question is, how come Goku didn't go Super Saiyan Blue from the get-go? Especially if your friend had 3 to 5 minutes to live, it kind of makes sense for you to go, you know, all out from the get-go, because why would you want to risk your friend dying is beyond me. But then again, this is Goku we're talking about here. He wanted to test Vegeta out. Although, again, it's not the original Vegeta, he still wanted to play into that factor, because they fought in the hyperbolic time chamber. Like, they gradually grew together. They trained with Whis and stuff. So it's kind of like a love-hate relationship. It is what it is. I'm pretty sure we all know of someone that we love and hate at the same time, and we all want to be better than and stuff, like training-wise or whatever. It's just the function of how they operate. But leading into next week's episode, guys, it's going to be groundbreakingly legendary. If you guys are stoked about it, let me know. And what are your overall predictions on Bulma? Let's talk Bulma here, because towards the end we get to see Future Trunks crying, and I think that the reason why he's crying, in my own opinion, I think that his mom is gonna die. I don't think that he's gonna be left to leave the future without there's something being on the line, and I think that she will be on the line here. But again, guys, I want to know your thoughts and feedback on this episode, and I want to know your thoughts and feedback on next week's preview. I was actually happy that Copy Vegeta actually transformed, because if they were gonna stick with the whole base Vegeta shit, I would have been like meh about it, because it just would have been base Goku versus base Copy Vegeta, so that really wouldn't have evolved into anything. But I'm excited. I'm pretty sure that 95% of you are excited as well. Leave your thoughts down below, guys. Once again, thank you all for watching. If you guys are Dragon Ball fans, don't forget to subscribe. That way you guys don't miss the latest news, information, and updates for Dragon Ball Super. If you guys are stoked, leave your thoughts down below. Even for the haters, if you guys are not stoked about this, comment down below as to why. Cannot wait. I cannot wait to see what Black Goku possesses, or Dark Goku, because the word black is translated as dark down in Japan. So it is what it is. We understand that it's evil Goku, Dark Goku, whatever it is you want to call him. He's an evil character, and the way he operated in that preview was just great. So again, guys, thank you all for watching. God bless you all. Tune in for more videos. I have a couple of breakdowns and a couple of updates to share with you guys, alongside the community reaction video to what's going to happen with evil Goku. So again, guys, thank you all for watching. Tune in for more, and I'll be seeing you all in the future, or in the past, or nevertheless next week, because that's when everything's going to go down. Thank you all for watching, guys. Peace!